Who to hire as your first full-time hire in your digital marketing agency. I'm Michael Tessalona. I'm an owner at PM Now. After years of struggle in entrepreneurship, I built two seven-figure businesses in 1 year, and this channel is all about sharing the lessons that I've learned. One of the members in a program that I have, he is growing his agency, and he's basically at the point, there's actually two business owners, and they're finally at the point where they're like, okay, this is getting to be a little bit too much. We need to get more people to really scale this up. And so the question was, what does their team need to look like? What type of hire do they need in order to scale? So with digital marketing services, what's so amazing about it is it's really remote. You're really getting paid for the knowledge rather than the work itself. You know, if you guys have ever heard that thing where, like a plumber comes in and he does like one little thing, he fixes the leak, and then he says like, oh, it's $300. It's like, wait a second, why am I going to pay you $300? It just took you 2 seconds. And it's like, no, you're not paying me for the 2 seconds it took to do that. You're paying me for the years that it took for me to know where to turn, the right thing. And it's a similar thing with digital marketing, digital consulting, where the knowledge is paramount. It's actually the building of the system that is hard work, and that's where the value is added, not necessarily in the actual moving your mouse and clicking. And because of that, number one, it tends to be very high margin, and then the other thing, and this also contributes to the margin, is you can get a lot of virtual assistants, virtual overseas workers to do the jobs. So like on our team, we have 4 full-time people from the Philippines who do a lot of the legwork, for our clients. We also have account managers who oversee those virtual assistants, and our account managers are the ones that will check the virtual assistants' work, and they're the ones who will actually interact with the client, and really just like a little bit more high-level type things. Anyway, when it comes to a digital marketing agency, the first thing that you guys definitely need to have is a virtual assistant. I think that there's wonderful, really smart people that I've had a lot of success working with people in the Philippines. And you can go on onlinejobs.ph and get somebody from the Philippines. A good virtual assistant, you can pay them really just like $5, $6 an hour. What we wind up doing is giving people just like a monthly salary. So the monthly salary would, for full-time work would sometimes be like $1,000 a month. And then we also do this other thing where we give them what's called a 13th month. In the Philippines, if you have a job in the Philippines, you get paid kind of like double in December. And I guess it's like a 13th month payment. They do that in Spain also, and it's really to help with the holidays and things like that. So we offer just like an extra $1,000 for the 13th month. So it essentially moves them well over $6 an hour. But anyway, that's what I would recommend is the core, nuts and bolts, those repetitive tasks that need to get done. Get a virtual assistant on board and get them to be full-time as soon as you possibly can. You definitely want somebody who's responsive. Responsiveness and attention to detail are probably the two number one things, especially since you're working with somebody who they're basically working the night shift. If you think about it, it's very, very easy for them to slack off. It's easy for them to slack off because they're remote, but there's a big incentive for them to slack off because they want to sleep. It's something you can also hire people, virtual assistants in South America. I haven't done that myself, but it tends to be, I've heard good things about it because you're in a better time zone. But after you get your virtual assistant, so it's you doing the marketing, doing the sales, doing the fulfillment with the help of a virtual assistant, and now you've got 10 clients and, it's really starting to get a lot. What you can do is the first real, the first other hire I would recommend is to get an account manager. With account managers, they basically, in my model, they need 3 things. Number one, they need to have some sort of industry expertise. So if you've niched down your agency or your service business into a particular niche, it's really helpful if they have niche expertise. So worked in the industry before, that's a bonus, but that type of stuff can be learned over time. The second thing is product expertise in terms of your product. So in our case, it's search engine optimization. And the third thing is customer service skills. What I've found is that, and I'm still discovering this as I go along, when it comes to the account managers, generally, you can teach the niche expertise thing. That's something that they can acquire over time. When it comes to the product knowledge and the customer service, I find those two tend to be mutually exclusive. And it's not 0 or nothing. It's not everything or nothing. What it'll generally mean is you'll have somebody who's a real nerd on the product side. Like they really get into like the SEO, or they get into, like the technical aspects of your service. Either they're a really nerd over there and then they tend to be a little bit less strong on the soft skills, the customer service skills, or it's the opposite, where they're like really great with the customer service stuff, but they're just kind of not interested in the technical aspects of your job. You can train both of those things. You can train somebody to be better at customer service. You can train somebody to be better in the technical skills. I think people are going to have their propensity and like the things that they're generally good at. In my business, I got really lucky, I think. In our first hire was really great in like technically, like technical wise, like that was his and continues to be his lane, of his, where his real strength is. And the reason why I think this makes sense as your first hire, and the reason I'd pick technical expertise over customer service expertise, is because, if it's your first account manager, that person's going to be, working with you to really build your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, so that way you can scale up and have other people. That person's going to help you nail down your product, and if you have somebody who's like a nerd on the product side, like that's what you want. You want somebody tinkering, testing things, doing A/B tests to find out how you can make your service, how you can make your product like as good as it possibly can get, and then to like lock that in. And then the next account manager you can have, it'd be a little bit more of the soft skills, but guess what? They can just follow the script. They can just follow the steps in order to deliver like a high quality product. That's the way that I would do it. That's the way that like I've had success with this. One thing that's another thing to keep in mind is, your margins and how that, changes throughout this journey. Because the amazing thing about digital marketing is work from home, work from the beach, work from your laptop, be your own boss, all that other stuff, and get a couple of clients and, make $10,000 a month. And that's awesome. That's really excellent. And that's kind of like the dream, but what I've found in my experience, at least, if you want to build something like where you can really offer a lot of value, you got to niche down. And if you're going to niche down, that means you also need to focus on your sales and marketing like way more. Because if you're non-niched, you can just take whatever comes across your plate. And you can do some real basic things and do some networking, and you're going to get a bunch of clients, but you're going to work really hard on them. And most likely you're not going to get them the absolute best results possible. If you really want to build something big, it takes niching down, getting amazing at this one niche, and then it takes like, focusing on, well, how do I get clients at will? How do I attract people who are from this specific pool, this specific industry? And when you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to be slow going in the beginning. And when you hire that first account manager, it's going to take a real big hit to your margins. I remember me and my business partner, for a while, that first account manager was like the best paid person on the team, for like the first couple of months. Slowly, I remember like, oh my gosh, I'm finally making as much as this account manager is from the agency. Now, like, then it starts to scale after that. That's really where business owners get compensated and get rewarded for the huge risk that they make up front and the huge sacrifices that they make in the beginning of this in building all these systems. So anyway, hope that is helpful. Hope that's valuable. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.